Hey everyone, how you doing? Richard Taylor here. Let me knock that down a little bit. And I wanted to come on and talk a little bit about a couple of Final Cut Pro related things. Who's going to be watching the Apple event tomorrow? That's going to be a pretty interesting event, I hope. The iPhone 12 event. Oh, I got to do that. Hold on 1 second, please. Operation mode, allow. Ben says, hi, Richard. How you doing, Ben? Glad you could make it. Gert says he is going to be watching the Apple event tomorrow. I think even though it's not directly related to Final Cut Pro, Apple's been full of surprises this year, right? So we could see something Final Cut Pro related. I mean, look, the new Mac is coming out. The new ARM-based Mac is coming out. So that certainly could be something that we'll see tomorrow. And obviously, I'm not going to broadcast tomorrow during the event. That would be ridiculous. So we're going to go over a little bit about the Apple event, just do a little bit of reviewing about that. And also, we're going to talk about the FCPX Global Summit, which is coming up in 5 weeks. 5 weeks from today it starts. Ben Gibson says audio sounds superb on your live stream. Well, that is because of this box right here. This is the Apollo Twin X, and I'm running some plugins through it. Let me show you the plugins while we're here. These are the plugins that I'm running through it. I have Legacy. What the heck is that? Legacy. I don't know why that popped up. My stock market popped up. And I got Legacy compressors on it, a Legacy channel strip on it. This is by far the best audio interface I've ever had as far as software emulation and stuff. The Apollo Twin X, it runs these plugins in real time. Okay, this device right here has its own processor. It has two processors. It's a Twin X. It has two processors to run those software emulation plugins in real time. That's why I can do this, use it on the live stream. It's no latency. I mean, there's microscopic latency. You really can't see it. So, and then I have a Neumann TLM-103 right here, just out of sight. I have the luxury of keeping my microphone out of sight, but it's still only about 4 inches away from my voice, so it sounds good. Ben says, I'm not even listening with headphones, just iPhone 8 Plus speaker. But listen, here's one thing about the Apollo. It's not cheap. Okay, the Apollo is very expensive. This unit costs, I'm going to say, $1,200. So it's not cheap. And then there's plugins on top of that, okay? Plugins on top of that. So anyway, that's my audio setup. And I use that live. Now, I'm using Ecamm Live. Well, the reason I got this set up is I have a recording studio downstairs, so that's why I got this set up. Let's talk about the Apple event tomorrow. What is everybody doing? What is everybody looking for at the Apple event? Personally, myself, I am looking for the next version of this. This is the iPhone 11 Pro Max, and I'm looking for the next version, the iPhone 12 Pro Max. I'll get the biggest one that they have, 512 gigabytes, or if they offer any more than that, I'll get that. And I'm only interested in that because of video recording. Now, one of the things that I've seen online, let me see if I can pull that up. One of the things that I've seen online is the iPhone 12 Pro Max is going to have a 5 times optical zoom. This one only has 2, which has been very good for the last year. It has 2 times optical zoom, and ultra wide, and then just a regular wide lens. But I've wanted a stronger optical zoom, and maybe we're going to get that. 4 times optical, 5 times optical. That will be fantastic. That's one of the rumors that we see. And of course, we'll know tomorrow. Tim Cook and the gang will be presenting tomorrow at the actual Apple event. So we'll find out tomorrow what's going on there. But what do you want? What are you looking for? Listen, I've been saying for months now that Apple is going to have, they're going to introduce the Silicon Mac at one of these events. They didn't do it in September. They could introduce it tomorrow, or they could have a third Apple event in November around the Creative Summit, which we're also going to be talking about. This year it's called the FCPX Global Summit because everything is online. Garrett says, wondering what high speed is all about. I'm going to presume that is about 5G, which that's not that important to me. I use my phone, of course, and I would like to have 5G. I'm not sure what the closest 5G tower is around here. No idea. Have no idea what it is. So here's a little peek. We have the weather today is cloudy, overcast. This is the outside. Final Cut Pro Radio HQ. You can see it's overcast. The blacktop driveway is wet. And we also are expecting a call from Apple today on the hotline. So that could come at any time. We'll see what they say. We'll see what they say when they call in. They've called in before. Wink, wink. And told us the week before 1049 came out, they called in the week before and let us know what was going on. I, of course, couldn't say anything the week before, but I said something that morning, so we'll see. We will see. So I presume everybody presumes that high speed has to do with 5G. I don't know what else it would be. A new processor, of course, for the Creative Summit. I mean, for the Apple event tomorrow. Everybody expects that, right? I don't think anybody doesn't expect that, 5G at this point. Let me just move my windows around here a little bit. So let me pull this over here, pull this over here. I'm going to move these around so I can see websites. So this is what I look at right now. I'm going to show you guys here what I'm looking at as I'm broadcasting. Here is my screen. Here's my screen. Oops, wrong place. Here we go. Here's my screen. I'm sharing my screen for you right now. So this is actually my screen that I'm watching as this event goes live. I'm moving some things around. This is Ecamm Live. Of course, that's Safari. There we are live on YouTube, keeping track of everything the best I can. And this is what I'm seeing as we are broadcasting live here today. Turn that off. So, Gert says 5G might play a role, but so many countries haven't implemented that technology, and there are many different frequencies. You're absolutely right, Gert. A lot of countries have not implemented 5G yet, including, I don't know if it's around here where I live or not. I don't know. But going forward into 2021, more and more countries are going to have 5G, and you want a phone that has that capability, right? I mean, I do. Ben says, awesome to see it all. Yeah, I should every once in a while. That's my setup there. So let's talk about the Apple event, what we expect. iPhone 12, that's a definite. That's their main moneymaker. Silicon Mac, don't know. Don't know what's going on with that. I think probably Filmic Pro will be on the stage like they have been in the past, because I read somewhere that Filmic Pro has some kind of a major announcement having to do with the iPhone 12. We'll have to see what's going on with that. This is my overhead. This is actually using Filmic Pro on this. I have an iPhone up there, and I have a clean output from Filmic Pro. If I tap on it, everything comes back in, all the controls, and tap on it again, everything disappears. That's one of the things that I really like about Filmic Pro. The new update. So they're supposed to have a new update, who knows, for the iPhone 12. Viddy says, hello from India. How you doing? India's I don't even know what time it is in India. I have no idea. I mean, right now it's 11:21 here on the East Coast of the good old USA. I'm not sure what these are. Viddy. The switcher, this is the switcher here. This is a Stream Deck. I have the mid-level version. I can switch all these different scenes, different cameras. For example, here's the HQ camera. That's that button right there. I have different scenes set up. I set them up in advance. I can trigger different things. That's how I trigger so you can see my screen. That button right there, so you can see my screen. And then I turn it off. Hi there from the UK. Pweeks 123. Looking forward to tomorrow's event. Viddy says it's 9 p.m. in India. So that's like 9 hours difference, something like that, because it's 11:23 here on the East Coast of the good old USA. So we're going to talk about, I think the Apple event for tomorrow is going to be a good event. What do you think about the last couple of Apple events? I think they've been phenomenal. I think the last couple of Apple events, the virtual ones, have been very, very well produced. And I expect this one to be more of the same. High quality, don't you think? We're going to be getting the same kind of high quality. Hello from Athens, Greece. What time is it in Greece? I presume you're GM Greenwich Mean Time plus 1 or 2 hours. That's what I presumed. Greenwich Mean Time right now should be 3:23 p.m., so you might be 4:23 or 5:23. Most of Europe is. So, besides the iPhone 12 tomorrow and the other iPhones, I'm going to be looking at the Pro Max. I get whatever the biggest jump in 14:23, he says. So that's 6:23. Okay. That's 6:23 p.m. over there in Greece. So that's 7 hours, 8 hours, 7 hours difference, looks like. So the iPhone 12, all the different variables of that, probably 4. I'm looking at the Pro Max. That's probably what I'll be getting. If they have a 4 or 5 times optical zoom, that is the one that I'll be getting. Now, I also would like to see better low light performance and the optical zoom a newer processor will be better, etc. Let me see what this says. Can we use Big Giant Universe 3.0 in Final Cut Pro? I don't know. I have no idea. Just do a Google search and you'll come up with the answer for that, I'm sure. Final Cut Pro Radio HQ Backyard, the rear view. It's raining on the East Coast of the good old USA. That's where I live these days. So we talk about the Apple event. That's going to be the big event for tomorrow. It's going to be at 1 p.m., I think, Eastern Time and 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. We changed from the Daylight Time to Eastern Standard Time November the 1st. November the 1st, that's when we change. So everything will be different. We'll go to the way the time when the sun goes down and stuff will be different at that point. So let's talk about the Creative Summit. So Limelight says, morning from Muskoka. Good morning. How you doing? Let's talk about the FCPX Global Summit. So I've started a page over here at FCPRadio.com, FCPX Global Summit 2020 Countdown. You can go to the main page. Go to the main page at Final Cut Pro Radio. 10.4 is 34 plus months old, but it got a shot of adrenaline with 10.49, of course. So right on the main page, you can go and click on FCPX Global Summit Countdown. It'll take you to this page. I'm going to keep the page updated with the latest summit news, so keep on checking back. The FCPX Summit is the biggest Final Cut Pro-centric annual event. It is designed for intermediate to advanced users of Final Cut Pro in Motion. Future Media Conferences in collaboration with Apple is organized in the 6th annual edition of the FCPX Creative Summit as a virtual conference. So this is the 6th one, right? The Creative Summit. I've been to 5. I didn't go to the very first one. The very first one wasn't even in Cupertino. It was somewhere else in California. And they decided for the last 5 to move it to Cupertino. Now this year, obviously we can't go in person. So the Creative Summit is going to be virtual, right? Now, Final Cut Pro Radio is a media sponsor of the Creative Summit, which I have been for the last 4 years. This is my 5th year working with the fine folks at the Future Media Concepts, or this now is Future Media Conferences. So that is very cool. So let's get into what the summit's what's going to be happening at the summit a little bit. So one of the things, right now, the sessions are not, they're just starting to being filled out. Let me see if I can find the actual. Oh, here it is, the 2020 schedule. So the 2020 schedule is just starting to get filled out. Sessions with the green light background are sample topics from past FCPX Summit events and will be updated with exciting new content soon. Have no fear, everything will get filled up. Okay? 6 days. 6 days of sessions. Plus, Apple Day is on Thursday. We'll get to that in a minute. Starting on Monday, November the 16th, organizing is-edits, editing interviews with Final Cut Pro and Builder. These sessions here are, this is just placeholders for the time being, and they will fill these up. And they're having 2 tracks, if you notice, Room A and Room B. So if you buy your tickets are only $199. That's cheap. You can watch any session that you want in Room A, and then you can watch later what you missed in Room B. Sponsor session, afternoon break. These are the other sessions that are going to be there. Tuesday, going to be more. Wednesday, more. So Thursday, Apple Day. Stay tuned for more details soon. That's the day that I'm really interested in, is what Apple's going to be presenting. Daniel Suzuki says he just bought his ticket for the Creative Summit. Congratulations. Gert says looking forward to it. VidiDo says, is there a way to change background of a video without green screen in Final Cut Pro 10? I think you have to use green screen, unless you can also do something with color correction and keying a certain color out, especially if your color's all one. If your background's all one color, you can probably key that out as long as it's not part of a face or something. The same color as a face, you can do that. Just look it up. Look it up on YouTube. So let's go back to the summit. Here's what I wanted to show you. So the Global Summit 2020 countdown, even though they don't have who's going to present, let's look at what they had in the past. You can make a bet that these same people will be back for 2020. Nick Haraz, Steve Martin, Sam Messman, Ian Anderson, we had them on last week. We had the Aussies last week. Patrick Southern will be there. Lee Herbert. Now, this is based on 2019 and prior years, but these people will be the presenters. Lee Herbert, Serena Catania, possibly. There's Steve Martin again. Felipe. They'll have some new people there this year. They will have some workflow, people working on workflow, maybe a new film that's coming out with Final Cut Pro. Last year they had 2. Stephen Moyer was there, and they had 2 film workflows last year that were done in Final Cut Pro. So even though, like I said, even though you don't have the conference completely filled out, I wouldn't worry about that yet. That's going to be forthcoming. Dates announced 16th to the 22nd. There's the highlights. There's all the people right there. You can see all the people here that are going to probably be some of the same people. There's iJustine. I would not be surprised to see her back in the lineup. Jeff Greenberg, my friend Chris, Sam, there's Lee, Ian, Jeffrey Orthwine. I don't know if he's going to be there. There's Serena Catania, Michael Yanovich. And it'll be very, very familiar. This is like a typical classroom. When we're in person, this is what has been shown. Now, I'm going to be, one of the things that I'm going to be doing this year, I have 4 years of behind-the-scenes footage, filming that I've done. I am going to be showing some of that footage starting like maybe a couple days before the summit in November. But since you're here today, let me show you a clip that I have. I have a couple of clips. So one of the things that we did, this is of course is inside. Let me just look at this myself before I show it to you. Oh yeah, so here's a little, last year we went to a country club for lunch. Here's a little clip Hi, Justine.
So first of all, I'm going to be quick because I know you all want to get to lunch at Apple.
I was just trying to think, when I started Final Cut, I started posting my first videos on YouTube because I was teaching myself Final Cut, which is kind of crazy to think about. And that's why I started posting. And when people were like, why did you do this? I was like, well, no one wanted to be in my videos, so I put myself in it, taught myself to edit, and then posted it to the internet, and then people were commenting. And this is like probably in 2005, 2006.
It's crazy.
It really is crazy to see how the industry has changed.
The third-party effects, I'm sorry, my was muted. The third-party effects, Garrett says, I'm interested in optimizing workflow and editing, but not product presentations so much unless they are interesting for my own workflow. I think you will get stuff that's interesting for your own workflow. I had to switch on. I had this. This is my mute switch. It turns red like that. I had it on by mistake. Just let me know if I do that again. Not a problem. We'll take care of it. Lost audio, you were on mute. Yes. There, it's back. Now we're back. Thank you. Thanks for letting me know. I saw this. I have, well, you guys, I showed you what's there, right? Let me show you. So over to the right, this way. No, this way. Over here is my sound levels right here, and I can see when that's muted, as well as my interface right here. And I didn't see the sound levels. So thanks for letting me know. Limelight Muskoka says the stage right. But yeah, but this is, let me see, this is all backwards for me. This is my right hand, but facing it looks like my left hand. This is my left, so I have to make sure it's always backwards. We should get a button, audio lost, and then a huge sigh pops up on your screen. You absolutely should. That would be completely fine. That would be fine with me. So I have one more clip to play from past summits. I have 4 years of summits behind the scenes. I did live streaming all the entire time. A lot of this footage has never been seen before. Oh, it does look, stage right direction is backwards. And Ben Gibson says it looks correct to us. Your right looks right. There you go. But for me, I got to say, which hand do I raise now? I have to, whenever I point to something, that's what happens. Limelight says, cool footage. I have one more clip. So one of the things, like I said, I'm going to be assembling clips going forward. I'm going to be live. I'm going to be reporting live. Not so much the sessions, and that's not what I do. It's behind the scenes stuff. If you go to the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit, tell them Final Cut Pro Radio sent you. And at some point, there's a 15% discount for alumni. If you've been to the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit in the past, you get a 15% summit. So Garrett says, what are you expecting from this year's summit? Well, Garrett, let me just show you what I'm expecting. This is what I'm interested in. Apple Day, Thursday. So Apple is already committed to giving us a a virtual session, a presentation of some sort. And that's what I'm really interested in. Now, I don't see the point if they just present Final Cut Pro 10.4.9 or 10.4.10. Of course, some of that's very valuable, but it would be nice if they present, if the Final Cut Pro team presents something new. The Apple Silicon Mac can be out. What could we see? The Apple Silicon Mac in Final Cut Pro, right? Couldn't we see that? Got a phone call coming in. Hello? Yes, this is Richard. We are live. Oh, don't say anything. Don't say who this is. Okay, I will not say who this is. You've got information about what Apple is going to be presenting at the Final Cut Pro Global Summit? Please do tell. Really? Well, I won't say who this is, and I won't say what you're telling me. But if that's true, that'll be very interesting. Now, you're telling me that the presentation that Apple is going to do is still in flux. I just said that on the air, but that doesn't really give any information. So whatever Apple is going to be doing, it might change between now and 5 weeks from now. I presume they're going to be filming in advance, producing a presentation. I don't think they're going to be live. If they're going to be live, it'd be fantastic. Okay. Okay, well, we'll be back on the air between now and the Creative Summit. So please call back. And anytime you will find that I will not reveal my sources and I will not say anything that I'm not supposed to, that you don't give me permission to say. I appreciate your calling. Thank you very much. Well, that was interesting, wasn't it? I don't know, it was. It was for me. Now, the one thing I can tell you is the presentation that Apple is going to be giving is still in flux. Things can change, something can happen. Look, we got Big Sur coming out, right? Big Sur is going to be out. That could change something. The Silicon Mac, the first Apple Silicon Mac. What do you think the first Apple Silicon Mac is going to be? Everybody's saying it's going to be a low-level MacBook, 12-inch, 13-inch MacBook. I mean, a Mac Mini would be a no-brainer since they already have that out for developers. Apple made that public. Limelight says NDAs are very binding. I never break an NDA. You're not even supposed to talk about NDAs. That's one of the things, that you're not supposed to even talk about them. Here's Final Cut Pro Radio HQ. Back, look at the backyard. That is live. You can see the bird feeder there. Talk loosely about the release of 10.5. Talk loosely. I've been talking about 10.5 for about a year, since the last summit. It may be longer, waiting for it to come out. And then they gave us 10.4.9 at the end of August. They've never released a major feature update of Final Cut Pro in August before. This year they did. Puix123 says, I'm a little worried that Big Sur will not run on my Mac Pro 2013. I don't know. You have to look that up, see what Big Sur requires as far as Mac hardware. Now that we know what's happening possibly with the iPhone 12 and the technologies that are being given to us, and that will reflect anything we might see in 10.5. Tim says, hi, Richard, are you going to do another show with UK editors again? Absolutely. Tim, do you want to be on the show? I'll put you down as a list. I had another Aussie show. I think my fourth time I've had the Australian Final Cut Pros on last week. And I certainly will do another one with the UK editors. As a matter of fact, I'll schedule that for later in October. Okay, Tim, I will be in touch. And I'll schedule you. If you have a couple more editors that want to be on, we'll schedule that, and we'll schedule that going forward. Later October, probably. We'll do that. I got another something happening on Wednesday, another live show with a special guest that I will announce then. So what do you expect? I don't expect really anything Final Cut Pro related at the Apple event. I expect the iPhone 12 to be the big thing. Maybe they'll do a sneak peek of the Apple Silicon. They said the first Apple Silicon will be out this year. Michael Wright says, Apple site says any Mac 2013 or later will run Big Sur. There you go. Puix, your Mac Pro 2013 should run Big Sur. Look, I really like Big Sur. I really like Big Sur a lot. But there's 4 or 5 apps that don't run on Big Sur yet that I use all the time. Puix says, thank you. Puix, what does that mean, Puix123? Every time I see that, I think of Twin Peaks, which I'm a big fan of as well. So what else do we have going on here? So let me go back to this. I want to go back to this. So the Global Summit, which FCPX Creative Summit.com. We got another comment. Let me answer these comments. We got a lot of comments coming in here. Oh, Paul Weeks 123. There you go. That answered my question. Limelight Media says, will you run Big Sur off a partition to try out? Let me see something here if I can pull this up. That's exactly what I've done. If you can see this, I have a Big Sur beta on an NVMe SSD. And here's my Mac Pro, which is running Mac OS 10.15.7 Catalina. So that's exactly what I have done. I put Big Sur on a completely separate partition. It is fast. It's on an SSD NVMe. Turn that off. So, but I haven't, whenever, I really, really like it. Okay, I really, really like it. Someone's got the beta already running. Yeah, I run Final Cut Pro on it. No, Final Cut Pro runs fine. Final Cut Pro runs really good on it with absolutely. But there's a couple of other things that I need. I use Little Snitch, and I don't know if that's ready yet. I don't know if Hedge for Mac has got the version up running it. That's something else that I use. So whenever I log in, I have to, you dual boot. I mean, I just hold the Option key when you start up, and then you can choose whatever you want. I don't know. There's things that I don't want. Yeah, you don't want to mess up your libraries. Well, make a backup. You have a backup of your libraries, right? Make a backup. I always have backups of my libraries. No birds today. I don't think they're going to update Final Cut Pro tomorrow, but they can do it at any time. I mean, we know Final Cut Pro 10.5 is in the works, or a major update. It's been 34 months, almost going on 3 years. But since they gave us 10.4.10, they gave us 10.4.9 at the end of August. New features, a lot of new features. 10.4.9 was comparable to 10.4.4, which came out at the Creative Summit years ago. And 10.4.9 was a big, big update. And then they had bugs. They fixed it with 10.4.10 less than a month later. Since they went to 10.4.10, they can also go to 10.4.11 and 10.4.12 and 10.4.13 and 10.4 whatever. But at some point, we're going to get 10.5. Now, we know that Final Cut Pro is indeed running on the Apple Silicon, because we saw that at WWDC, didn't we? Apple showed that publicly at WWDC, and they also told us that the developers got a Mac Mini, could get a Mac Mini with the Silicon Apple chip in it. So Dolby Vision HDR features in 10.5 potentially. I read yesterday somebody posted that there's going to be Dolby Vision HDR features forthcoming, but I thought that was for the iPhone. I'm not sure how they do that. So I think we'll see 10.5. Well, we should see it in 2021 for sure. But they could also just show us a sneak peek at the Global Summit this year. They could release it around the Global Summit. They've always released major updates around NAB or the FCPX Creative Summit in the past, with the exception of this year, where 10.4.9 was a major update. They didn't do that around anything. They released it in August, for gosh sake. The iPhone will be able to record Dolby Vision content, so logically we would assume that if an iOS device and Apple would do that, their professional software can edit it at a future date. I would say that's probably correct. Although there has been some issues with the H.265 version of things off the iPhone. There's been some issues in Final Cut Pro that I've had myself, so that would not surprise me. Tangier says Aces built into FCPX would be a nice addition as well. Well, listen, 10.4 is going on 36 months old, 3 years old. 10.5 must be a complete rewrite of Final Cut Pro 10. That's what I'm figuring on. It's a complete rewrite. It's going to be massive, massive improvements, overhaul, whatever. I'll be running on my Mac Pro for years because I really, really like this. It's the best Mac I've ever owned in my life. It's Intel. I'll probably get this Apple Silicon version of the MacBook Pro when it comes out at some point. Puig says, one thing I'm hoping with 10.5 is you can customize your UI more, you and me both. I do as well. It seems very rigid. Final Cut Pro is very, very rigid. These windows must stay here. Your inspector is way up here on the left-hand side. And I got to go from the timeline up to the inspector, and then timeline up to the inspector, back and forth, from the browser over to the inspector. I like to have things more where I'm working, a right click or a HUD like Motion has. Garrett says customizable UI would be great. We can do a little bit of customizing right now, but not that much. I'd like a Roll Smart keyboard where media is automatically assigned to roll when added to a keyword collection. Keyword. Roll Smart keyword collections. That's what he said, not keyboard. Absolutely. Limelight says it has to do with the validation of the enhanced layer profile to conform it. Okay. Or even floating windows. Well, Motion has they have a floating HUD, right? Where the most common things that you do is right at your mouse pointer. Most everybody has that. I don't like the fact that I got to go from the browser to the inspector, to the browser to the inspector, from the timeline to the inspector, timeline to the inspector. I'd rather right-click where I'm working and have things of at least the most common things available right there at the right click, or a floating HUD for some of the things. I think that certainly could be coming. Michael Wright says, have you seen or tried? I know about the beta release from Blackmagic Resolve announced last week. I have it. It's on my App Store thing. I have not tried it for a while. I haven't tried the beta, but I think I did download it. And then they have ProRes RAW and Blackmagic RAW that they're still doing something with, right? Apple and Blackmagic. Please get that worked out. I know the Final Cut Pro team watches these broadcasts. If you have anything to say to them, you can say it, and I'll put it up in the comments. They're the best. Final Cut Pro team is the best. You guys and gals are working hard. I'm going to take a drink real quick. This is an iPhone stand. Let me show you. So I can see my iPhone in horizontal or portrait position. It's a little metal stand. I usually watch some things. It's very handy. But what I've done with this, when I want to look in my Mac Pro, I have a little battery-powered light. I don't shine it in there. So when I want to look at something on the Mac Pro, I just use this light and shine it to where the ports are so I can see what cables I plug in. This is actually a little light that you can plug on your iPhone. I really like it. It has 3 levels of brightness. But that's what that is. This, of course, is my drink. I've had enough coffee. Today I don't need any more. There's the backyard, Final Cut Pro Radio HQ. I don't know why there's no birds out there today. Usually they're all over the place. But anyway, I wanted to come on today and talk about the Creative Summit, the Global Summit. ProRes Codec from Apple won an Emmy recently for this technology. Did they really? For the ProRes itself won? Is that what you're telling me? ProRes won? That is very interesting. So one of the things, I use Ecamm Live, as you all know, because I've talked about it multiple times. One of the things, so I have Interview Beta off. I'm going to turn it on here. So Interview Beta is a new feature that allows me to bring in people without using Skype, guests. They all appear under here, 1, 2, 3, 4. But I'm not going to be using that today because I don't have any guests. But I will later in the week. I will indeed later in the week. I have another guest coming on Wednesday. Final Cut Pro Radio. So this is interesting. If anything happens tomorrow at the Apple event, Final Cut Pro related, I'll come back on for a short live thing right after the event. We can talk about it. One of the reasons I do these without guests is so your comments can be placed on the screen. Everybody in the Final Cut Pro universe can comment. Tangier Clark says, I agree with you, Richard, about button placing. In dual screen mode, I wish the transform and retime button stayed above the timeline instead of underneath the viewer, or at least be able to move them. Listen, let me just go back to, I have a 34-inch LG monitor. If I make the viewer full screen, the buttons for the viewer are way over to my left-hand side. Transform buttons. They're not under the viewer. I wish they stayed under the viewer. I wish it was customizable. You can make them stay so I don't have to go all the way over to the left. I wear my mouse out doing that, or trackpad, whatever. Rob Fisher says, hey, Richard, so guest feed go through Ecamm servers? Yes. It's in beta. It's in beta. I've put about 5 hours on it, and you get, if you have the pro version, which I have, of Ecamm, I have a yearly subscription, so I get 250 hours per year of using their servers for the guests. Don't have to use Skype anymore. There's a lot of other features, a lot of other really, really cool features. It's still in beta, so there's a couple little bugs. People are consistently reporting a echo on some of the guests. I haven't seen it. I've had plenty of guests on. I had Serena on last week, and Tangier Clark came on with us. I didn't hear any echo, but other people have reported, so I don't dismiss the fact that they could have it. So, and it's just in beta. They're adding other features, some really, really cool features. We can have up to 4 guests on their servers. They're hosting it somewhere. I can still use Skype, which is, if I wanted to do that as well. So that's like 22 hours per month of guests that would be included in my pro plan. Alrighty. What do you think? What are you most excited about the Apple event tomorrow? Like I said, if there's anything Final Cut Pro related, maybe I'll come back on and talk about the iPhone 12 Pro Max. I'll get the biggest one they have. I have a holster that I have. Okay, I keep my iPhone in this thing on my side pocket, so I don't really care how big it is. It doesn't bother me. I don't keep it in my pockets. So Rob Fisher says, we'll miss your videos of the summit and meeting you this year. Interesting how the design of the event. Rob, I am still going to be broadcasting during the summit. I'm going to be doing these live streams. I'll do them in between sessions so people don't have to worry about missing those. And I'll be commenting on things. But I also am going to be playing footage of behind the scenes from summits in the past. I'll be doing that the week of the summit. I'll probably start on Sunday before the summit, maybe the Saturday before. Come on and play some clips. Actually, I have one more clip for you today. So one of the things that we have, let me just check this out. There we go. One of the things that we always did with the summit, one of the best things, we're going to Apple Campus. We went to Apple Campus every year that I've been there, the last 4 years. And Rob says, great, yes, absolutely. I'll be coming on here live and talking about the summit, different things, people that don't buy the package to watch it live. I'll be commenting on just the typical stuff that I normally do. But one of the things that we miss, meeting people in person, I don't care what they do virtually, meeting people in person is the best part about the summit. It's fantastic. You get there and you meet people, you have coffee in the morning, talk Final Cut, talk about other things. There's lots of community right around the Juniper Hotel. Lots of places to eat, lots of places to go within walking distance. So I really miss that. I have footage from 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019. I will be sharing those clips. I'll play a clip, I'll come on and talk about it. I'll play a clip, come on and talk about it. I also will be perhaps reviewing some of I'll talk to Future Media, some of the actual sessions as much as possible. I don't know what's going to happen with the Apple session if I'll be able to talk about that. Apple was very specific in the past about these presentations we're giving are specifically for the attendees of the FCPX Creative Summit. I don't know how that's going to be this year. If that's what they say, I, of course, will abide by that, absolutely. But one of the things we always got to see over at the Apple campus, One Infinite Loop, we got to see a Final Cut Pro team do a demonstration of Final Cut Pro. Sometimes they previewed a new version of Final Cut Pro. Sometimes they showed us something that's coming up. 10.4, I think when 10.3 was shown at the summit, and then 10.4 the following year, but 10.4 didn't come out, I don't think, until December, so they previewed a version of Final Cut Pro at the summit. They could do that again. We don't know. I will absolutely just follow along on YouTube or Facebook. Everything is Richard Taylor TV. Facebook, Richard Taylor TV. YouTube, Richard Taylor TV. Let me put that up there. And let me see. Social media. Here's what you can do. Go to FCPRadio.com. I'll have stuff there. And, of course, Facebook.com, Richard Taylor TV. The live streams are there. But I would say the main one to go to is YouTube.com, Richard Taylor TV. That's probably the best place to go. You can subscribe there, and you'll be notified whenever I go live. The majority of stuff I do is Final Cut Pro related. I do some live bands and stuff as well. But anyway, back to what I wanted to talk about. Let me just turn that off. We go to Final Cut. We go to see the Final Cut Pro team at the One Infinite Loop campus. They show us a demonstration. After the demonstration, we go to the demo room to get some hands-on. Here's what that looks like in the past.
Updated our after the integration a long time. So now that it's in Final Cut, so
There's the eGPU, and they introduced that. Philip and Chris. Greg. Here's Lee. Sam and Patrick, of course. But that just gives you an idea. I have hours of that footage, probably, I'm going to guess 10, 15 hours of behind-the-scene footage. A lot of the footage has never been seen before because I don't play that much. I just do little clips. Garrett says we'll probably get a login for a Citrix server to get our hands on 10.5 this year. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think when they release the version, it's out to the public, but we'll have to see how that works. Puig says, I'm looking forward to the summit because in the past I could not go because of work. However, living in the UK, it is going to be rough because of the time difference. You'll be able to watch everything after the fact. If you buy the package, you can watch it later. You don't have to watch it live. I think it's East Coast. They have meetup sessions in between. Yes, they do. So the other thing that they have, that the Final Cut Pro team comes to visit us at the Juniper Hotel, and we have a private session. We can't talk about it, you can't record it, you can't take pictures. We've had that for the last 2 or 3 years. I'm not sure how they're going to do that this year. I don't know what the restrictions are for the Apple content's going to be, but I will, of course, abide by that. Now, if they allow us to talk about it, that's fine. I'll come back on, but I will be talking. I'll be doing live streams every day. In between the sessions, they have a 2-hour break, I think, at lunchtime. I'll do a session there. I'll go back at night after the sessions are over. We can talk about stuff. Of course, any breaking Final Cut Pro news will be, I'll come back on live. Once again, the best place to subscribe is here, youtube.com, Richard Taylor TV. Go over there and subscribe, and you'll be notified. Just click that little notification bell, and you'll be notified whenever I go live. The majority of stuff I do is Final Cut Pro. I do a little bit of animal rescue stuff, and I have a band coming here Saturday. I'll be streaming that concert live as well. Final Cut Pro Radio HQ, backyard view. I think I'm getting it off here. For today, everybody, I thank you so much for coming on and leaving comments. When I'm on by myself, without guests, I do this so everybody can comment, so the viewers can comment and get it in the live stream. I hope they will launch 10.5 just before the summit and demonstrate it during their presentation on a new Mac. We don't know what Apple is going to be doing. We don't know what Apple's going to be doing. Okay? They're unpredictable this year, just as the whole year has been unpredictable. They released 10.4.9, a major feature update in August. They've never done something in August before. I would not be surprised if 10.5 arrives in 2021. However, a preview of 10.5 is not out of the question. It could be in 2020, but I have a feeling it's going to be 2021. But like I said, listen, they gave us 10.4.10. They can give us 10.4.11 if anytime they wanted to. Limelight Muskoka says, I think 10.5 will come after the iPhone 12 release. I don't. Garrett says, yes, they do. They called you just a moment ago. This is the Apple hotline. I don't think anybody's on the phone right now.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
I don't think there's anybody there right now. I could give them a call back. But anyway, after the iPhone ships, after mid-November, I appreciate everybody coming on the show today. Nice that you have that ready. You should get a red phone. I wish I did have a red phone. I don't have one. I don't have a red phone, so I can't do that. But in any event, everyone, I'm excited about the Apple event tomorrow because I'm probably going to get the iPhone Pro Max as long as there's video improvements. I don't care about the 5G as much. We just got a notification. It says, congratulations, you've received 100 messages today with Restream Chat. That's great. That's all you. You're the one doing the messages. But when I come on here by myself, either I'm making an announcement about Final Cut Pro that's just breaking, or I just want to let people, get you guys and gals a chance to talk, to make comments. Like I said, Apple does watch these. Agree, Red, like the Bat phone. Go ahead and buy me one and ship it to me and I'll have it. This is actually my real phone from, I'm not sure what decade it was. This is actually my phone. The old phone number's on there, but it's no good anymore. The area code's 301. We don't use that anymore. This area code is 410. You can see the wind out there. It's very windy. All right, everyone. I think I'm going to head out of here. Like I said, youtube.com Richard Taylor TV. You can also follow the same thing at Facebook, but if you go to Facebook, do not request a friend, Facebook friend, you can just follow along. I keep my friends on Facebook small because it's not really Final Cut Pro. It's more community, local community, and family, and just a couple of friends. But you can follow on Facebook. You can follow on Facebook now. Also, don't forget FCPX.tv. I have articles up there. But the main place, and of course, FCPRadio.com, where the podcast is going, audio podcast is. You should get the bat spotlight with shadow logo on the back wall when it rings. There you go. There you go. That'll be perfect. Thanks for the show. See you soon. It works? Yes. This phone actually works on current phone lines. You plug it in and it still works. I can still dial Tim Cook directly with a rotary phone. Isn't that incredible? Anyway, everyone, thanks for tuning in. My name's Richard Taylor. I'm going to be getting out of here for today. And I might come on after the iPhone event tomorrow just for a short thing. If there's anything that exciting, if there's anything Final Cut Pro relating, I'll come back on. Once again, go to youtube.com Richard Taylor TV. And that's where you want to go. Subscribe over there. Ring that bell. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you all later.